Hey Beaumont, welcome to week number 6 of the Hunger Games Scavenger Hunt. This will be our craft video where we will be kind of going off of the excerpt that Troy will read, and we are going to be looking at the Muttations, which is the mutts in the last kind of chapters of the book, as well as I will be doing a tracker jacker nest today. So let's get started. I'm going to show you guys some of the stuff that we're going to need. So to start, we are going to need a balloon, and we're going to blow that up, and then we are going to make some paper mache with some water, some glue, and then we are going to use some string to make that, so that when we pop the balloon, the tracker jacker nest will stay put. Then we are going to make little tracker jackers. So we have some pom-poms here, we have some scissors, we have some black construction paper, and a hot glue gun. So let's dive in. Alrighty, so for this step, we are going to be making some paper mache with some glue and just a bit of water to thin it out. I'm going to use this to hold the balloon while I'm wrapping it in the paper mache covered yarn. I'm just going to use some scissors for that. So I'm going to start by just blowing up this balloon, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, so now that this is blown up, we are going to make some paper mache. So I'm just going to put that aside. Alright, so we're trying balloon number 2. I popped the first one. So we're going to put this aside gently. It's static to me. Alrighty, so now I have just a bit of water in here. We're going to take some good old just white glue here. We're going to pour it. Alright, so now we have the string that is in our glue mixture. And now I'm going to start by just wrapping this yarn around this balloon. And you're just going to kind of keep wrapping in different directions. I don't know what kind of pattern is on well, you're going to try and keep that on there. Here. Alright, we're going to work away on this, and we will be right back when it's complete, okay? All right, so now that we have kind of the shape and the texture that is going to be the nest, we're going to use some crepe paper, which is just like crinkled up tissue paper that you would use for streamers or something, but you can use whatever you have at home. You can use paper towel or tissue paper or toilet paper, whatever you have. So we're gonna wrap this around, and it's gonna end up showing the texture of this, but it's gonna give it a little bit more structure. So let's get started. All right, you guys, so after a long time, we finally finished this. So we have the yarn, and then we have the crepe paper on top covered in the paper mache. We are going to find a spot to hang this, and we're going to leave it for probably a couple days. And then we're going to show you guys what it's like, and we'll pop the balloon. So the next step, we are going to make little tracker jackers. So I don't think the book actually outlines at all what color they are. Feel free to correct me. But I'm gonna go with yellow, brown, and black, and then I'm gonna make a fun one just because I can, and I'm gonna make yellow, purple, and brown. All right, so we're gonna make 2. We're gonna make little wings, and we're gonna zoom in so that you guys can see this being made. All right, so I'm just gonna cut these out like wings. So I'm kind of doing a bit of a figure 8 pattern here. And then we're gonna, you see how there's 2 sides? We're gonna fold it on either side. And then the body of the tracker jacker is gonna fit with the wings there. Awesome. Now I'm gonna do the same with the other one. But there you go. So there are the two. So now I'm gonna go and get a hot glue gun and we're gonna glue these together. So we're just gonna glue it like that. In my mind, I kind of imagine they're kind of like bees or like wasps or hornets. So I'm kind of gonna make them look like that. Hot glue gun, you can use whatever glue you have. And we're gonna be very careful because hot glue gun is hot. And we're gonna just stick it on either side and make kind of looking like a stripe. There we go, perfect. So like this. Awesome, we're gonna let that dry. Now if you're using white glue, it might take a little bit longer, but you can just kind of leave it there. And then I'm gonna do the same for this one. And now I'm gonna put a little dot of glue on here, and then we're gonna stick on the little tracker jacker to his wings. Like this. And I'm gonna glue it down, like so. So now here are our little tracker jackers. You can think back to how many there were in that scene in the book. And our tracker jacker nest is currently drying. We will check back in a couple days when it is dry. We'll pop that balloon and then we'll show you how to hang it up and how to attach these little tracker jackers.
Hey Beaumont, Troy here. This week's excerpt, we are reading chapter 25 of the Hunger Games. This chapter deals with the Muttations at the end of the competition. It will follow along with our craft. So let's dive into the book and head out. Chapter 25, Muttations. No question about it. I've never seen these mutts, but they are no natural born animals. They resemble huge wolves, but what wolf lands and then balance easily on its hind legs? What wolf waves the rest of the pack forwards with its front paw as though it had a wrist? These things I can see at a distance. Up close, I'm sure their more menacing attributes will be revealed. Cato has made a beeline for the cornucopia, and without question, I follow him. If he thinks it's the safest place, who am I to argue? Besides, even if I could make it to the trees, it would be impossible for PETA to outrun them on that leg. PETA! My hands have just landed on the metal at the pointed tail of the cornucopia when I remember that I'm part of a team. He's about 15 yards behind me, hobbling as fast as he can, but the mutts are closing in on him fast. I send an arrow into the pack and one goes down, but there are plenty to take its place. PETA's waving me up the horn. Go, Katniss, go. He's right. I can't protect either of us on the ground. I start climbing, scaling the cornucopia on my hands and feet. The pure gold surface that has been designed to resemble the woven horn that we fill at harvest, so there are little ridges and seams to get a decent hold on. But after a day in the arena sun, the metal feels hot enough to blister my hands. Cato lies on his side at the very top of the horn, 20 feet above the ground, gasping to catch his breath as he gags over the edge. Now's my chance to finish him off. I stop midway up the horn and load another arrow. But just as I'm about to let it fly, I hear PETA cry out. I twist around and see he's just reached the tail, and the mutts are right on his heels. Climb, I yell. PETA starts up, hampered by not only the leg but the knife in his hand. I shoot my arrow down the throat of the first mutt that places paws on the metal, and it dies. As it dies, that creature lashes out, inadvertently opening gashes on a few of its companions. That's when I get a look at the claws, 4 inches and razor sharp. PETA reaches my feet, and I grab his arm and pull him along. Then I remember Cato waiting at the top and whip around, but he's doubled over with cramps and apparently more preoccupied with the mutts than us. He coughs out something unintelligible. The snuffling, growling sound coming from the mutts isn't helping. What? I shout at him. He said, "Can they climb it?" answers PETA, drawing my focus back to the base of the horn. The mutts are beginning to assemble. As they join together, they raise up again to stand easily on their back legs, giving them an eerily human quality. Each has a thick coat, some with fur that is straight and sleek, others curly, and the colors vary from jet black to what I can only describe as blonde. There's something else about them, something that makes the hair rise up on the back of my neck, but I can't put my finger on it. They put their snouts on the horn, sniffing and tasting the metal, scraping paws over the surface and then making high-pitched yipping sounds to one another. This must be how they communicate, because the pack backs up as if to make room. Then one of them, a good-sized mutt with silky waves of blonde fur, takes a running start and leaps onto the horn. Its back legs must be incredibly powerful because it lands a mere 10 feet below us, its pink lips pulled back in a snarl. For a moment it hangs there, and in that moment I realize what else unsettled me about the mutts. The green eyes glowering at me are unlike any dog or wolf, any canine I've ever seen. They are unmistakably human. And that revelation has barely registered when I notice the collar with the number 1 inlaid with jewels, and the whole horrible thing hits me. The blonde hair, the green eyes, the number, its glimmer. A shriek escapes my lips, and I'm having trouble holding the arrow in place. I have been waiting to fire, only too aware of my dwindling supply of arrows, waiting to see if the creatures can, in fact, climb. But now, even though the mutt has begun to slide backwards, unable to find any purchase on the metal, even though I can hear the slow screeching of the claws like nails on a blackboard, I fire into its throat. Its body twitches and flops to the ground with a thud. Katniss? I can feel PETA's grip on my arm. It's her, I get out. Who? PETA asks. My head snaps from side to side as I examine the pack, taking in various sizes and colors. The small one with the red coat and amber eyes. Foxface. And then there's the ashen hair and hazel eyes from the boy from District 9, who died as we struggled for the backpack. And worst of all, the smallest mutt, with dark glossy fur, huge brown eyes, and a collar that reads 11 in woven straw, teeth bared in hatred. Rue. What is it, Katniss? PETA shakes my shoulder. It's them. It's all of them. The others. Rue and Foxface, and all the other tributes, I choke out. I hear PETA gasp in recognition. What did they do to them? You don't think those could those be their real eyes? Their eyes are the least of my worries. What about their brains? Have they been given any of the real tribute's memories? Have they been programmed to hate our faces, particularly because we have survived and they were so callously murdered? And the ones we actually killed, do they believe they're avenging their own death? Before I can get this out, the mutts begin a new assault on the horn. They've split into 2 groups at the side of the horn, and they are using those powerful hindquarters to launch themselves at us. A pair of teeth ring together just inches away from my hand, and I hear PETA cry out. I feel the yank on his body, the heavy weight of the boy, and the mutt pulling me over the side. If not for the grip on my arm, he'd be on the ground. But as it is, it takes all my strength to keep us both on the curved back of the horn, and more tributes are coming. Kill it, PETA! Kill it! I'm shouting, and although I can't quite see what's happening, I know he must have stabbed the thing because the pull lessens. I'm able to haul him back onto the horn, where we drag ourselves towards the top, where the lesser of 2 evils awaits. There we have it, their last interaction with the Muttations. Now let's head back to Megan for our craft. Bye, everyone.
Hey everyone, so this has sat over the weekend to dry. It's now hard. And we are going to pop this balloon and hope that the balloon comes away from the paper mache. And then for the next step, we are going to hang it up. So we're going to need some of that yarn again and a hot glue gun to glue on the tracker jackers. So let's get started. So now for this step, we are going to pop this. I'm going to use some scissors. And then the air just kind of escapes the balloon, and I hope it's just gonna pull away from the paper mache all by itself. So we're gonna kind of let that do its thing. Can you guys hear that? It's like pulling away from it. Woo! That's super cool. Oh, there we go. Oh, look at that. All right, so now we have the entrance for the Tracker Jacker nest. And then we're just gonna pop little holes into the top here so that we can put the string in it so that it can hang. So I'm just gonna take a little bit here, cut that. And then I'm gonna feed it through the little holes that we just made here. So that can hang around it. All right, so now that I have fed it through on either side of those, I tied it into a knot, so now it can hang. And now we're gonna attach these Tracker Jackers here, just on random spots. I think you could probably make some more than just two, but we're gonna add these here and glue them and then show you how it looks when it hangs up. So you can add a little bit of glue here. Again, we're using hot glue, but you can use whatever glue you have access to. Just gonna glue it down. And then the other one as well. I'm gonna glue this down just below it here. Awesome, so now that's what that looks like. All right, so here we have our completed Tracker Jacker nest. We have our little Tracker Jackers. It's on a little string here. And that's how it looks when it hangs up there. And there you go. We have completed week number 6 of our scavenger hunt for the Hunger Games. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.